2025, what a time. Let's take a look back at some of the key words that define this very eventful and very interesting year. First on the list is tariff. Tariff. Unless you were living under a rock, you've probably heard the word tariff many times this year. Tariff refers to the controversial tariff policy implemented by the Trump administration in the US. Okay, the next word is delulu. Delulu is short for delusion or delusional. You've probably seen the phrase, being delulu is the solulu. Being delusional is the solution to your problems. Delulu has become a kind of joking way of expressing that you or somebody else has such a high level of confidence and faith in themselves that it might be seen as a little bit crazy. Next is doomscrolling. Most of us online have probably seen this word by now. It just refers to endless scrolling, usually through negative news. So doomscrolling was so popular, it even got added to the dictionary this year. All right, the next phrase is canon event. You've probably seen this one used a lot in comment sections, especially relating to life experiences. This refers to an event that a person is meant to go through. So a great example of this is in stories about relationships, where a young person will post about troubles they're having in a relationship when they're very, very young and when they don't have a lot of experience dating. So in the comments of these kinds of situations, somebody will often write, "This is a canon event, I cannot interfere," which means this person is supposed to have this experience at this point in time in their life. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is glazing. Glazing. This is very much a new generation word for a concept that has already existed for a very long time. Depending on your generation, depending on where you grew up, you might have the phrase sucking up to or brown nosing. So when you're glazing someone, you're saying all of these nice things, not necessarily because you think that they're true, but just so that that person thinks favorably of you. Next, I don't think this list would be complete if I didn't include 6-7. While it's technically not a word, I think that the internet collectively can state without a doubt that 6-7 was a huge explosion in the year of 2025. 6-7 is just one of those things that's a silly, random thing that kids like to say, and it doesn't have to make any sense. So if you don't understand 6-7, that's okay. You're not supposed to. The next one is algorithm fatigue. Algorithm fatigue refers to people just getting tired or feeling burned out in general with either content creation or content consumption. But in some cases, algorithm fatigue is getting so bad that people are just leaving social media altogether or deleting the apps off their phones or just trying to find a way to create some space between themselves and the algorithm. Okay, the next word is shadowban. Shadowban has started to creep more into the mainstream. A shadowban is a kind of sneaky way of banning a user or restricting their engagement heavily. So for example, a shadowban on YouTube might mean that your comments are all invisible, meaning you can interact as much as you want, but your comments are not going to be publicly viewable. Okay, the next word is the expression flooding the zone. This is very much a political strategy that we have seen a lot in the US during the Trump administration. This refers to a tactic usually done by political parties where there's just so much information thrown to the public that people don't know how to react. So flooding the zone was key for 2025 because this was the stated tactic for the Trump administration when they took office in January of this year. The next word is ragebait. Ragebait, if you're not familiar with the word, is content that is created to make the other person feel so angry that they engage with the content. This is not a new concept by any means. However, in 2025, we're starting to see increasing amounts of ragebait on the internet. They'd rather take the hit of people getting angry at them in order to get that algorithmic boost. Okay, the next word is parasocial. Parasocial refers to a relationship where only one side of the relationship knows about the other person. So to some degree, many of us have parasocial relationships with our favorite creators, and for most people, this isn't a problem. However, for some people, parasocial relationships develop into something that's a little bit more problematic, and in some cases, it can be elevated even to stalking and harassment. The next word is inflation, and also related is inflationary pressure. Inflation is something that's happening in a lot of countries all around the world. At its base level, inflation means that prices of things are going up, but the salaries and the compensation that people are receiving in that country are not, which leads to this gap, which means that it costs more to do things. Your life becomes more expensive. The next key word for 2025 is brainrot. You have probably seen this word so many times this year. Brainrot refers to a type of content that's just kind of dumb. It doesn't have much value. It's really, really strange often. Sometimes it's AI generated, sometimes it's something that a human has generated. People say that it's making us stupider. Okay, the next one is receipts. This just means proof of something that happened. So when we say receipt, obviously, we can also mean proof of something that we bought. But these days, receipts can also mean proof of a conversation or proof of an event that happened. I know you said that. I have receipts. The next one is AI agent. This is an interesting one because an AI agent is like an independent kind of AI tool. You can program it to run independently. You program it, you set it all up, and then it automatically does these tasks for you and spits out a result. AI agents, maybe when you hear me describe describe that can be very, very effective, can be very, very helpful for automating certain tasks. But because AI agents are so interesting and flexible and can be so helpful in so many different ways, tons of tools have popped up promising to help people to create their own AI agents. Okay, the next expression I want to talk about is weaponized incompetence. Weaponized incompetence refers to using your lack of ability to do something as a weapon, where a person who has been assigned some kind of task claims that they don't understand the task, claims that they cannot do the task correctly, does it improperly on purpose in order to get out of having to do that task in the future. So weaponized incompetence is a term that has come up a lot more this year in relationship discussions and in interpersonal discussions. The next word is ceasefire. Ceasefire, of course, popped up a lot in the news this year with regard to the Israel-Palestine conflict, and it's likely that we're going to see ceasefire continue to pop up in the news as we hear about more wars and more conflicts around the world. The next expression is second screen viewing. Second screen writing or second screen viewing refers to this idea that many people are now watching movies or watching TV while scrolling on their phone. Many production studios and even creators believe that they now need to make content that is specifically designed for this kind of interaction with it. They're making content for people that are distracted to begin with, or people that they know are going to be distracted. This is a word that I think we're going to see a lot more of in the coming years. Okay, the next word is gaslighting. I've made a video about this term because there's a little bit of confusion about this one. Gaslighting refers to a pattern of behavior over time where one person makes another person continuously doubt their reality. Gaslighting and lying have a lot of overlap, but they are not precisely the same. You can go and check this video out for more information about that, and also check out the comments for some good discussions on this one too. The next expression is the discourse. So in the past, discourse has been used to talk about like academic topics. Experts will discuss things, and the discourse means all of the discussions, all of like the expert level conversations about that topic. But today, we're starting to see the phrase the discourse used to talk about all of the discussions happening like around a piece of media, for example. So while discourse used to be a kind of academically charged word, these days we're starting to see discourse used to apply to discussions of things like pop culture. Okay, the next word is greenwashing. Greenwashing is a really sneaky practice where companies will make it look like they're doing something environmentally friendly, but they're actually not, or they're making some of their behaviors that are supposed to be environmentally friendly look a lot better than they actually are. The next one is pardon, or pardon power. Pardon is a word that popped up a lot in 2025 because there were a lot of controversial pardons made by the Trump administration, and there were some controversies about future potential pardons as well. So a lot of discussion came up this year about the word pardon and what the power of the pardon really means for a president and how it should be wielded. The next word is AI bubble. If you're not familiar with this one, there's this big graph that's going around that shows all of these different relationships between tech companies and how all of their deals are related to each other. The idea here is that there are so many companies that have traded just with each other to try to make AI technologies happen that there's way too much money here and not enough money being made. So when all of these kinds of transactions start to fail because these companies aren't making enough money from consumers, that's when this bubble is going to burst. Will this happen in 2026? Only time will tell. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is kind of a 2-for-1. The next one is indictment or indicted. To indict someone means to formally accuse them of a crime. This word appeared in so many searches this year about so many different legal cases. The last one that I want to include on this list is actually a pair of words: disinformation and misinformation. I talked a bit about these words in my political vocabulary video, but in case you missed that one, here's a quick review. Disinformation refers to information that is purposefully created inaccurately, improperly, something that has unreal information in it or fake information in it, and that information is then disseminated or spread. Misinformation, on the other hand, is information that is inaccurate, incorrect, or false, but that is not created intentionally. Misinformation and disinformation are rampant on the internet, and I think this is only going to increase. This problem is only going to get worse as more and more AI technologies develop and as these products get more and more expressive in terms of how they're able to showcase human behaviors. So those are 25 words that I think define 2025. Of course, I know there are other ones depending on your niche, depending on your work, depending on the news you consume and the social media that you watch. So if you have any other ideas to add to this list, pop them in the comments so that we can have a discussion. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like because it really does help the channel, and subscribe for more videos like this. See you next time.